By a show of hands, who thought that Jeff Passan got hacked and that Rafael Devers wasn't actually traded to the San Francisco Giants? Now that the dust has officially settled and we know that this is a real trade, that Devers is a Giant, I want to break it down piece by piece. Actually, before that, we kind of have some breaking news. Big Papi David Ortiz, a Red Sox legend and friend of Rafael Devers, just spoke out about this trade. He said, players need to take this as an example. Nobody is indispensable. You have to be available. That was the end of the relationship between Devers and the Red Sox. You need to be smart and understand the situation. Your worst enemy is your ego. Man, David Ortiz from the top ropes. I do not think that this is going to be a friendship ending quote, but I fully agree with that. Which, if you know anything about me, you know that I've been supporting Rafael Devers by buying his cards, making tweets on Twitter, when it was known as Twitter, about how he's on a collision course for Cooperstown. He was quite literally built and bred by the baseball gods to mash baseballs and get on base. I mean, this is a 1 of 25 rookie patch autograph Rafael Devers card. This was one of my babies. And the fact that he's looking back at me as a Red Sox player and knowing he's not a Red Sox player anymore, it's still tripping me out. So again, I just want to say it does not bring me any joy at all to talk about how embarrassed I am of Rafael Devers and his behavior over the last year, but he's Rafael Devers and I'm fuzzy. He's not going to lose sleep over me criticizing him. It's okay. Some of you guys take this very personally. I am not saying that Rafael Devers is a terrible human. I just don't think that he's approached this situation the right way, but the Red Sox didn't either. But now we're going to go ahead and put on the Giants cap and see what in the world happened for them to get Rafael Devers on their squad. And real quick, one more thing. This is not going to be a full MLB recap. This is one of those trades and situations that deserves a dedicated video. Normal MLB recap will be back tomorrow, but let's talk about what the Giants did. So we know that this is now the second big splash that GM Buster Posey has made. We know that he was, I think, a Hall of Fame catcher for the Giants. Now he's in the GM role. The first big splash was Willy Adames. That has not worked out very well. He's been pretty stinky. What's the best way to cover up a big signing that hasn't really worked out? Making a mega trade, and this classifies as a mega trade. Rafael Devers is that good, in my opinion. Actually, that's not even an opinion. That's a fact. Rafael Devers is insane at baseball, or at least hitting baseballs. So yeah, this trade is kind of twofold. One, you're getting a stud in the lineup and you're helping to mask over giving Willy Adames a ton of money. But the thing is, the Giants, they had to bite the bullet. Usually in a trade like this where a lot of money is going from one team to another, Boston would send some money to the Giants. Nope, the Giants are taking on 100% every single schmeckle that Devers is owed. Yeah, they're taking it on. And I just checked, that's about $28 million a season until 2033 when he's going to be 36 years old. Now, before we talk about money and whether or not the Boston Red Sox make the right move, I want to talk about what the Giants just did to their lineup, their everyday lineup going forward for the rest of 2025. When Matt Chapman comes back, I mean, this is an insane lineup. The Giants went from a contender to a now legit juggernaut heavyweight contender. To me, Rafael Devers is a Hall of Fame type bat. Let me repeat that. A Hall of Fame type bat. That's why I bought his cards. That's why I put out propaganda that he's on pace to be a Hall of Fame type player almost every single year. I loved Rafael Devers. He was so much fun to watch. And again, we'll talk about my opinion and why it's changed. And I hate that it's changed. But also, as it's turned out, I'm a big fanboy of Devers' new teammate, Elliot Ramos. I have a lot of his cards as well. Devers and Ramos in the same lineup is going to be cinema. And we haven't even talked about Matt Chapman coming back. Jung-Hoo Lee's breaking out. Wilmer Flores has been an RBI machine. Maybe Tyler Fitzgerald and Willy Adames bounce back in the second half. If that happens, I mean, watch the heck out for this Giants lineup. But Fuzzy, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Matt Chapman is a Gold Glove third baseman. He's not going to play third base, and Dom Smith is at first base. Wilmer Flores is at DH. Well, this is where my opinion of Rafael Devers starts to kind of shine through. I fully believe that, and again, this is all speculation. This is me guessing. I think that when Rafael Devers plays the Red Sox this Friday, just the baseball gods, they're writing a perfect story for us this week. We get Rafael Devers versus the Red Sox in 5 days. But I fully believe when they face off, Devers will be suiting up as the everyday Giants first baseman. I don't know if I'm off my rocker for saying that. I don't know if I'm just delusional and I want drama because I'm a YouTuber who enjoys it, but I fully think that Rafael Devers is petty enough to do that. So if that does happen and Rafael Devers does play first base, I think that Boston Red Sox fans will kind of look at this situation a little bit more sideways, like hindsight's 2020. Maybe we should have seen that the writing was on the wall and that he's kind of being selfish, and unapologetically so. If he does play first base, now that means first base super prospect Bryce Eldridge might, again, this is all speculative, don't take this with a grain of salt, he could be expendable if Devers does choose to play first base. I don't know what that means for Dom Smith, but Bryce Eldridge, again, keyword might, he might be a piece that could get traded pretty soon. And a lot of people would be after him 100%. We'll talk about what the Red Sox got in a second because the Giants starting rotation did take a hit. They do still have Logan Webb, who's been insane. Robbie Ray has been Robbie Ray-Gun, so he's been on top of his game. Landon Rupert Raupe really likes to keep the baseball on the ground, the Giants like that. Hayden Birdsong is disgusting. And they also have a top prospect by the name of Carson Wisenhunt, I believe that's how you say it. He was striking out a lot of guys last year. It's not the case this year, but they like his ceiling. And honestly, I feel like the Giants staff is always going to be fine. They always seem to find guys like Alex Cobb, or they get a really good first half from Anthony Desclafani. They're going to be fine on the pitching side of things. But now that we've talked about Buster Posey bringing on Rafael Devers, taking on 100% of that contract, let's see what he had to give up in return for Rafael Devers. So the first thing I will say is that Craig Breslow is on the other side of things. He is the Boston Red Sox GM, and Breslow did not sign Rafael Devers to a $300+ million contract, and he just doesn't like Rafael Devers, according to a lot of reports, or maybe it's the other way around, and Breslow is just trying to have the best team possible, and that's why he signed Alex Bregman. Again, there's a lot of rabbit holes we can go down. But I say that Devers was being selfish because this is the one thing that I point to whenever Red Sox fans are like, Fuzzy, you're being way too harsh. When Triston Casas' knee exploded, if I was Rafael Devers, I would have put my pride aside and my ego. David Ortiz brought up the ego, so we know that that's in play. I would have been like, you know what? Triston's life has now been altered forever. I'm going to go ahead and lace it up. I'm going to play first base and have my teammates back. He didn't do that. Alex Bregman got injured a few days later, and what did they have to do? They had to use Abraham Toro, who, by the way, has been absolutely mashing. He's been a godsend for the Red Sox, but Devers, he just kicked it back. Nah, I'm the DH. Go find a first baseman. That was a real quote. Craig Breslow, the GM of the Red Sox right now, is also not the guy who traded away Mookie Betts. He didn't give Trevor Story $140 million. He didn't give Devers the $315 million. Me personally, a bystander, I am a Guardians fan with no skin in the game in this trade. I think that Craig Breslow has done a lot of good over the last few years. Aside from the Chris Sale trade, but Chris was kind of on his way out. He could not stay healthy, and I think that he could have probably communicated better with Rafael Devers throughout this process, but none of it matters now. He's gone. But remember that Breslow traded for Garrett Crochet and then extended him, so he's going to be the ace for the future of the Red Sox, and he's been insane this year. He also stole Carlos Narvaez, a brick wall rookie catcher who can rake. He stole him from his rivals, the Yankees, and he also got Bregman, who's been a stud this year. Anyway, all that yapping, let's talk about the core pieces going back to the Red Sox in exchange for Rafael Devers. And one of the biggest pieces has nothing to do with players. So the Red Sox got 23-year-old Kyle Harrison. So this is a reunion. We know that Andrew Bailey was the pitching coach for the Giants before he went to the Red Sox. So yes, Kyle Harrison and Andrew Bailey, they're already familiar with each other because they played together in 2023. I really feel like Andrew Bailey is going to focus on Kyle Harrison's fastball because opposing hitters this year, it's a small sample size, take it with a grain of salt. Opposing hitters have a 175 batting average and a 27.5 whiff rate against that fastball. The slurve has regressed badly, so maybe Andrew Bailey tells him to throw the fastball more and trust his stuff. Maybe he works on the spin rate of the slurve. Maybe they develop a brand new pitch. I don't know, but I believe in Kyle Harrison. I think that he's going to be good. The Red Sox also picked up starting pitcher / reliever Jordan Hicks. I have no idea what he's going to be when he joins Boston. He had a 2.8 ERA his first 23 innings last year as a starter. And again, he excelled as a starting pitcher after being a reliever for the Cardinals for the longest time. He fell apart after that. He got relegated to the bullpen, and it got even worse in 2025. He put up an almost 7 ERA. So either Andrew Bailey is going to have to fix that sinker or tell Jordan Hicks to stop throwing altogether, because this year against the sinker, opposing hitters are hitting 321, and last year was even worse, 342 or something like that. So ditch the sinker or develop a new pitch entirely. This is a name that I didn't even know existed, but I've had a few of his teammates DM me. So I put out a post on Instagram, like a live reaction to this trade, and I got some messages from James Tibbs III teammates. He was the 13th overall pick last year, and he went crazy. He hit 363 with 28 home runs his final year in college. And I had not just one, but two of his teammates DM me on Instagram saying that they called him the prize of this trade because of his work ethic. And I looked into it because I'm like, what do you mean his work ethic? And then I saw the numbers. He's walking almost 10% more this year and striking out almost 13% less. Do you know how much work ethic you have to do that in a couple months? The plate approach is completely different. Granted, they were A-ball stats, so I don't know how well it's going to translate to AA, AAA, and maybe even the major leagues, but I've never had anyone defend a teammate, let alone two teammates, so it seems like James Tibbs, he's a cool guy and a clubhouse kind of rally guy. The Red Sox also got 20-year-old Jose Bello. He is a reliever. He is a strikeout machine according to the stats. He also has very good command. He doesn't walk anyone, and Andrew Bailey likes that. Andrew Bailey loves guys who pummel the zone and aren't afraid to give up a solo home run or two. I mean, unless it's too much like Tanner Houck. But Bello had a 12 strikeouts per 9, a 2.1 walks per 9 in his first handful of innings in rookie ball. So again, a lot of these things are happening in A ball and rookie ball. So what do you make of all that? Those are the 4 players going back to the Red Sox. 23-year-old Kyle Harrison, who was a product of Andrew Bailey in the past. Jordan Hicks, 22-year-old James Tibbs III, and 20-year-old reliever Jose Bello. Now, to me, the big fish in this wasn't even a player. It was the fact that the Giants are taking on every single penny owed to Rafael Devers until he's 36 years old. And a lot of people are saying that this is a salary dump. I've thought about it. It's not a salary dump because Rafael Devers is way too good to dump his money. A salary dump would be Andres Gimenez. So when he went from the Guardians to the Blue Jays, to me, that's a salary dump. Same with Miles Straw. But objectively, the Red Sox did just free up a ton of money, and there's some pretty good free agents coming up this offseason. On top of that, Masataka Yoshida, whether you like him or not, his final 70 games last year, he hit 302 with an 830 OPS. He's going to come in and probably be the everyday DH now that Devers is a Giant. I am really being glass half full guy and being an eternal optimist with these next few players. Blaze Jordan, remember the 15-year-old who used to hit 500-foot home runs? He's been raking. He's hitting 315 this year with 26 extra base hits, 44 RBIs, a 910 OPS in 56 games between AA and AAA this year. He's not the only one. They call this kid the password because his name is so hard to spell. 22-year-old Jose Tinson, is that how you say it? Garcia. Again, they call him the password because that's how it's spelled. I'm not even going to, I had to go on Baseball Reference and learn how to pronounce it. He's been demolishing baseballs as well. So the Red Sox, they are quite literally littered with offensive talent that they think are going to translate to MLB stars. And again, the Red Sox now have $28+ million extra a year. I'm going to say extra because I don't know if John Henry's going to spend that money, but they did give Bregman a really nice contract. They traded for Garrett Crochet and extended him. They gave Kristian Campbell an extension. They've been spending a little bit more money kind of lately. They're still like bottom 19 in payroll. So while we're on that topic, let me bring up the owner of the Red Sox and the fact that, I mean, back in the day when I was growing up, the Red Sox were perennial top 5 spenders. I don't know if it was the Carl Crawford signing. He might have full-blown PTSD for giving out mega contracts, but when you're an owner, you have to have short memory and go for it every single year. The fact that Boston has been basically 20th in payroll for 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row, it's not acceptable. But again, I really like the offseason that Craig Breslow just had. I like a lot of these offensive pieces that the Red Sox have. Marcelo Mayer, you have Kristian Campbell, who's been pretty excited. I know he's kind of slipped as of late, but you also have Roman Anthony. These guys are potentially superstars in the making. And I personally think that Rafael Devers wanted to get traded after they picked up Alex Bregman. He felt like he was lied to, led astray, run amok, even though he was given that $300+ million and a promise to be the everyday third baseman by Chaim Bloom, who's not with the Red Sox anymore. He's a Cardinal. With that being said, I do still want to throw out there that I believe that Craig Breslow and the Red Sox front office staff could have been more transparent and forthcoming. Maybe they were just trying to make everyone happy and say, hey, Devers, maybe, nah, they straight up told Devers, you're not going to have a glove. So I get that Devers is frustrated now that he's being asked to play first base. But again, it's not like they were just, hey, Rafi, can you just play first base every Thursday? His teammate's knee exploded. And after that, I started looking at this card a little bit different. I'm like, is he the worst leader in baseball? I don't want to fence it and say that this trade could end up being a win-win because that would almost be unfair to Red Sox fans who've had to watch Rafael Devers leave, Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts. Although it was the correct decision to let Xander Bogaerts walk, I think that Padres fans want to put him in a rocket ship and send him to Jupiter at this moment. But yeah, I honestly think that getting this toxic situation out of Boston and the clubhouse could actually benefit them going forward. Or I could be completely wrong and they lose 20 games in a row and their season's over in the blink of an eye. And at the same time, the Giants could reap the benefits of a freshly energized Rafael Devers who might be playing third base until Matt Chapman comes back, or maybe he plays first base just to spite Craig Breslow and the Boston Red Sox front staff. I mean, that could happen too. I just think that this is going to play out for both teams actually fairly well. Again, maybe that's because I'm an eternal optimist and I like to look at things half full. And you know what? Maybe I want to see Devers go crush it with the Giants and actually be a leader and take them on a crazy playoff run. Maybe that would make me look at this card with less disdain. Because again, I'm upset at the fact that I've been disappointed by Rafael Devers all 2025. Not because of his baseball production, because he's still insane, but because of the way he's carried himself. It just sticks in my mind that he literally told him to go sign a first baseman after his buddy blew his knee out. And then when Bregman went on the IL, he wasn't playing third base. So it's just, thank God for Abraham Toro. So that's the trade in a nutshell. We talked about every nook and cranny situation that could come of this, whether it's Bryce Eldridge getting traded because Devers is now the first baseman, whether Blaze Jordan gets the call soon, or the password, how do you say his name? Jose Tinson Garcia. I like him too. Maybe all of this works out and John Henry spends a lot of money next year. We have no idea. But according to Red Sox fans, That's not happening. I'm not a tall guy, right? I'm 5'8", 5'9". Boston Red Sox fans have made it seem like I have a better chance of waking up to be 6'5" tomorrow than the Red Sox have of being a top 5 payroll again soon. So, yeah. What do you guys make of this trade?